This is Learn English with Ease.
English made powerful, simple, and yours.
Hey there! Welcome back to Learn English with Ease. And if this is your first time listening, I want to start by saying this. Thank you for being here. Today's episode, it's not going to be your typical language tips kind of talk. We're going deeper. And I mean deep. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you stopped yourself from speaking English because you were afraid you'd make a mistake? Was it at work, on a call, in a class, maybe just in a casual conversation? Did you feel that nervous tightness in your chest? That voice in your head whispering, "Don't say it. What if it's wrong?" Yeah, that voice, that fear. It's so common, so real, and so heartbreaking. Because here's the truth. Fear of making mistakes is what's keeping thousands, maybe millions of learners stuck in silence. They study, they memorize, they know English, but they still don't speak freely. Because every sentence feels like a risk. And if that's you, if you're afraid to speak because you're scared of being wrong, this episode is for you. Not to fix you, but to free you. To show you that mistakes aren't the enemy, they're the path.
Jack, I'm already getting emotional because I've seen this fear destroy so much joy. I've worked with students who were bright, passionate, deeply intelligent, but they were silent. They would smile and nod. They would write perfect essays, but they were terrified of opening their mouths. And do you know what always came up? That fear of judgment, the fear of sounding stupid, of being corrected, of being laughed at. And it didn't come out of nowhere. Most of the time, it came from years of being shamed for making mistakes. Maybe in school, maybe at work, maybe even at home. So if you're listening to this and you've ever felt like, if I say the wrong thing, I'll look dumb, I want you to know, you're not alone. And more importantly, that fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been protecting yourself. But now, it's time to choose a new kind of protection. Not silence, bravery.
That word, bravery, is everything. Because the people who speak perfectly, they didn't start that way. They started by sounding awkward, by saying weird things, by mixing up words, by being embarrassed, and still showing up. Mistakes are not proof that you're failing. They're proof that you're trying. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, your brain is growing. Your confidence is growing. Your fluency is becoming real. And here's something I wish every English learner knew. Native speakers make mistakes too. All the time. I do. Emma does. Everyone does. We forget words. We mispronounce things. We say, wait, all the time. That's normal. So why do we expect English learners to be perfect from the beginning? That's not fair. That's not how language works. Fluency doesn't come from perfection. It comes from connection, from the courage to keep going, even when you mess up.
That reminds me of a moment I'll never forget. Years ago, one of my students, a man in his 50s, stood up to give a short presentation in English. He was nervous. He made a few grammar mistakes. He mixed up the past and present tense. But he kept going. He shared a personal story. He smiled. He laughed. And when he finished, everyone in the room clapped. Not because he was perfect, but because he was real, because he had heart. And after class, he told me, "Emma, that was the first time I didn't feel ashamed of my English." I think about that all the time, because that's the moment fluency really begins. Not when you stop making mistakes, but when you stop letting mistakes define your worth.
Wow. That gave me chills. And I want to speak directly to anyone listening right now who's been afraid to speak up. If you've been quiet in meetings, if you avoid talking to native speakers, if you keep saying, "I'll speak when I'm ready," I want you to hear this. You're already ready, not to be perfect, but to be human, to make small mistakes, to learn from them, to laugh about them, to keep going. Because every time you stay silent, your fear wins. But every time you speak, even if it's messy, you win. So don't wait until your English is perfect. Speak now. Speak messy. Speak bravely.
And Jack, you said something earlier that I think we need to highlight. That connection is more important than correction. Yes, grammar matters. Yes, clear pronunciation helps. But what people remember most is how you make them feel. Did you smile? Did you try? Did you show up? That's what people connect to. And here's the thing. Most native speakers are not sitting there judging your grammar. They're just happy you're talking to them. They're impressed that you're using a second language at all. But do you know who is judging you harshly? Your inner critic? And that voice in your head? You can change it. You can train it to be softer, kinder, more supportive. And when your inner voice becomes your cheerleader, your outer voice becomes more confident too.
That's so true. So let's talk about practical things you can do when you make a mistake. First, pause and breathe. Don't panic. Your brain just hit a speed bump. It's not the end of the road. Second, laugh a little. Mistakes are funny. I once told someone in French, "I'm pregnant with my computer." I meant, I forgot my computer. They laughed. I laughed. I never forgot that phrase again. And third, celebrate it. That mistake just taught you something, and it means you had the courage to try. That's something worth celebrating.
I love that so much. We need to normalize making mistakes. We need to make it feel safe, even fun. And for anyone listening who wants to push through that fear, try this. Keep a mistake journal. Not to criticize yourself, but to celebrate the moments you spoke anyway. Write down, "Today I said he go to work instead of he goes, but I finished the sentence anyway. I kept going." That's bravery. That's growth.
And that journal? Over time, it becomes a powerful reminder. You'll look back and see how far you've come, how many times you showed up, how much courage you had, because in the end, fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from sound, from action, from trying again and again and again.
So, to every learner out there who's been afraid to speak, I want to tell you this. Your mistakes are not a problem. They are proof that you are becoming. You don't need to hide them. You need to honor them. Because every single one is a step closer to confidence, to fluency, to freedom.
And remember, you're not learning English to impress anyone. You're learning it to express yourself, to connect, to share your voice, your story, your truth. And that's too important to keep silent.
So go ahead, speak, mess up, laugh, try again, because every mistake is a bridge, and every time you cross it, you get closer to the version of you who's not afraid anymore.
We're proud of you. We see your effort, and we believe in your voice. Thanks for being here with us. And if this episode moved you, share it with someone else who needs it. Let's build a world where English learners don't just learn, they live in their language.
Until next time, keep learning, keep speaking, and keep loving your beautiful, brave mistakes.